Hey guys, it's Erica and right now I'm at Lowe's. We're gonna see what plants they have, if they have any cool new plants for the summertime. So here we are at the indoor plants. It's a little bit empty at the moment, but we'll just see what they have. So down here, this looks like a type of philodendron, and I don't think I've ever seen this at a Lowe's before. I'm not sure what kind this is. I think it might be a Lowe Phil. It looks like its roots are a little bit sad based on the black edging on the sides. That's usually from root rot, sad roots, yellowing, and black. It's like a black or brown outline, or black or brown and then with a yellowing outline. That's a sign of root sadness. And then down here, this is a peace lily. It doesn't have a flower right now. There's also these hanging lemon lime philodendrons. They are so beautiful. They have some pretty large leaves. They're really good for like brightening up a space. The way their hearts trail down when they get long enough is just perfect. So these are $24.98 and they come with this macrame hanger and this pot. So that's really pretty. That's a new addition. And oh, there's another one here in case you don't want it hanging or anything. This one is $14.96. So it is cheaper. It doesn't look to be the healthiest either. It might be from overwatering. A lot of times the plants look sad because of overwatering. And these are some Crotons. They like a lot of light and they're very prone to spider mites, so that's something to be aware of. Back down here are some African violets. They look pretty sad. Maybe you can ask them to sell it for $1. And here are some very, very sad looking snake plants. They look maybe like they're very thirsty, but they are in this hardened top, which if you buy a plant like this, I would advise you to remove it from here, because you can definitely see how sad these are. This looks very thirsty. Snake plants are very hardy, so you can easily revive it from this really sad state. Here's a Dracaena marginata mixed with, I can't remember the name of this plant right now. Oh, there's multiple Dracaenas in here actually. So this is just a mixture of plants for $9.98. There's more mixtures similar. And here are ZZ plants, which are very hardy, just like a snake plant. They're amazing. They grow in the lowest of light you give them. I don't know, they're just really great plants to have. They're super awesome. I love a good ZZ plant. These are $14.98. And here is a snake plant. Up here looks like Aralias. I honestly don't know much about Aralias, but they say tough as nails, tropical. I don't know if they're as tough as ZZs and snake plants, but here are the money trees. So these are $14.98. This one is the biggest one. So if you want a really big mama. They're pretty sturdy too, tough as nails. And up here are some ferns. You can see they have these really gnarly, like tarantula looking legs that grow on them. If you like that, I think this is a really good plant for you. Otherwise, it's kind of creepy. Like I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of those. Over here we have more. These are Dracaena marginatas. This one has a dark burgundy edging, and this one has like a lighter kind of pinkish color. It's just a brighter version of this one, but they're the same plant. And this one has 4 babies in them, so this one's $24.98, and this one only has 2, so it's $12.98. And right here we have another Croton. The other one you saw had kind of more thin, crinkly leaves. This one has some really nice, flat, large leaves with yellow. To me, this one looks like lightning. I really like this one. Same thing as the other one, they need a lot of light and are prone to spider mites. So this one is $9.98. And this is a palm. This one is $9.98. I think palms are very prone to spider mites too. Up here are spider plants, which are very easy to care for. And they give you these beautiful babies that you can just stick into soil and it will create a whole nother plant. So they're very good for sharing with your friends or just having a bunch of them around your house. And they're generally super easy to care for, and you can forget to water them, they'll be fine. If you want an easy plant, this is a really good one. And golden pothos are also really easy to propagate, just really easy to care for in general. They are the #1 plant I would recommend for a beginner. And these are $16.98. And there's also a smaller one right here for $12.98, depending on what size you would like. Down here are some adeniums. I don't know much about the care for these. They are more desert type plants. And there are more different kinds of Dracaenas and bromeliads. The bromeliads are $7.98. You can tell they have these really pretty flowers. They do need a lot of light. Some more peace lilies. Peace lilies are really thirsty plants. This one might be a little bit thirsty. Yeah, this guy's a little thirsty, but there is a flower coming out. Here we have a Calathea medallion. Calatheas, in my opinion, are the most difficult type of plant to care for. They need a lot of water. They prefer higher humidity. This one is $12.98. This is a medallion with those big medallion leaves. Over here we have a ficus. This is a variegated Ficus benjamina. There's also one over here. Well, there's multiples. So this is an unvariegated one and this is a variegated one. They like a lot of light. They're trees, they're ficuses. Usually ficuses like a lot of light. They're pretty easy to care for, and these are $24.98. And then right here we have some banana trees. I kind of really want one of these. This one is $22.98. Look how beautiful these leaves are. They have this really nice pattern. Gorgeous pattern. These leaves do look a little bit beat up, like they've been through it. So find the prettiest plant you can and keep it beautiful. These are so pretty. And these are some bigger peace lilies. These are huge. You can really see how big they are. They have giant leaves. And you can also see here there are a bunch of giant, really huge deliciosas. They have a ton of fenestrations. I'm gonna guess these are like $80. Oh, they come in a special pot. Look at these aerial roots. They're massive. And they are $69.98. Oh, okay, $10 cheaper than I thought. They're really nice and huge. If you want a big one, this is one you should buy. Over here is the Syngonium. These do look a little bit sad, and it's probably because the wick is taking up too much water. So if you see plants with wicks like this being sold, you should be careful because they might have root rot due to having too much water. But those are $4.98. And there's just some more Dracaenas. This is an Asparagus Fern. It's $4.98. In my experience, they're not the easiest to care for. Over here we have a rubber tree. Let's see how much this one is. $16.98. Oops. Oh, it's trapped. There we go. Rubber trees are so gorgeous. This one looks like it's thirsty. If they get floppy leaves like this when they're thirsty, they do like a lot of light, a bright light situation. So if you have lower light, I would not recommend this plant. They also have really toxic sap, so be careful not to get it on you if you cut it. But they're really easy to care for. And they definitely show you when they're thirsty. This is when they're like very thirsty though. And there's some smaller. These are $29.98. $30, like half the price of the other one. Here are some Anthuriums. Personally, I don't really like the flowers on Anthuriums. I kind of like how they look better without the flowers and they just have the foliage. But these are $16.98. These look very healthy and nice. I think this is a good size Monstera for a starter. Yeah, this looks really good. This is $25, $24.98. That looks great. Here's some more different kinds of Sansevierias depending on the look you want to go for. These are $24.98. This one has a little baby popping out, so I would probably go for this one out of all the others. Or this one has some new growth too. Find the one that has the most new growth coming. And here's a really big ZZ plant. If you have a spot with low light and you want a big statement plant, a ZZ plant is the way to go. This one is $59.98. They're so hardy, they'll keep growing in that low light. They're just amazing. I can't emphasize how great ZZs are. You can also put Sansevieria there too. Here are the Fiddle Leaf Figs. They're $50. They're pretty big. Fiddle Leaf Figs are easy once you get the hang of it. In my experience, they don't really like to be watered often. I have a smaller one and I water it. Well, now that it's summertime, I water it more often, maybe like 4 times a month, but before I used to water it only once a month, like during winter time, and it was perfect. So they don't require that much water, and they also like consistent watering. So they like to be on a little schedule. If you don't have them on a schedule, they start getting these dots. They just get unhappy. So this is one you gotta be on top of to care for, but they are really beautiful. I feel like they're a staple plant. So I almost missed these. There's some Monstera adansonii here. These are $19.98. It's definitely, I think $20 is actually a pretty good price for this, but when you find pots like this that are inside other pots, you want to check to see how the roots are looking. You can definitely see the roots through here and they look good. They're not black. You can see they're kind of tan colored, but if they were dark brown, that would be bad. So let's check the other one to see. But it's especially these ones that are in double pots that you want to check on. And it's kind of not the best that, okay, look, these roots, you can see that it's they're brown, they're mushy. Those are rotted roots. So it's very important to check. And the plant still looks pretty healthy, but it's gonna have to recover from those roots. So if you took a plant like this home, you might notice some leaves start yellowing or they don't look happy, and that's just because it's recovering from those sad roots. Plants that I would recommend to get if you're a beginner, definitely this Philodendron lemon lime. It's super easy to care for. It's so gorgeous. It really does look so pretty when it trails, and it's a bunch of neon hearts flowing. So this is $14.96. I would also recommend the adansonii. It's very easy to care for, similar to the Philodendron. These are $19.98. If you want a different kind of looking plant, that Philodendron would be really good to get. African violets are very easy to care for as long as you don't wet their leaves. These are ones you have to bottom water, but they're very easy to care for. Of course, snake plants and ZZ plants are like the easiest of them all to care for. I highly recommend the spider plants and golden pothos, and I also highly recommend Monsteras, especially when they're really big. They're harder to kill, if that makes sense. Those are the main plants I would recommend as a beginner. Plants that I would avoid if I'm just starting out with plants, you're just dipping your toes in, I would really avoid ferns. Even though they do look really beautiful, I would avoid them. And I would really avoid Calathea. They're just a struggle plant. even if you try your best, they can end up dying, and it's really kind of heartbreaking. I would also really stay away from ivy. They are really difficult to care for, even though they don't look like it. Where I live, there's a lot of ivy growing everywhere, but when I try to grow it in my house, it's not easy at all. So stay away from ivies. I would also stay away from crotons. So this is the kind of lightning looking one, and there's also that crinkly looking one back there, and I would just stay away from crotons in general. Lastly, I would stay away from Fiddle Leaf Figs. And I know they're gorgeous and they're so big, but for example, this plant is $50. And if you are kind of new and you don't really know the signs to look for in plants, then this one could be a lot of money down the drain. If you want a Fiddle Leaf Fig, I've seen smaller ones, like 4-inch pots sold at Lowe's. There's none here today, but I've seen it before. They're smaller, and just test it out on a really small one before you go and make the plunge for getting a really big one. You can see these in store already don't look very happy, so they are pretty difficult to care for until you find the perfect spot and you get their watering schedule down. That is it for today's video. I hope it was helpful if you're kind of just getting into plants right now. I think if you're just starting out, Lowe's is a really good place to get your plants. Their prices are pretty low, and they just have a lot of good plants, and they're kind of always restocking, so you can wait until you get the healthiest one. That is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!